This is the You, Me, and BTC podcast.
Cryptocurrency decrypted.
Welcome to episode 50. We're kicking things off today with a discussion about the 50,000 bitcoins recently auctioned off by the US Marshals Service. The coins had been taken from Ross Ulbricht, the alleged leader of the original Silk Road. Then later in the show, we'll be chatting with Robert Genito, the administrator of a Bitcoin exchange called Wall of Coins. The service allows you to quickly purchase Bitcoins by depositing cash at your local bank. Mr. Genito will explain why this is important for the Bitcoin economy and share some plans he has for the future. Your hosts today are Tim Baker, John Stuart, and myself, Daniel Brown. Here we go. Hey everybody, welcome to the show today. This will be episode 50 of the You, Me, and BTC podcast, which is actually pretty crazy. 50 episodes, that's halfway to 100, I guess. I'm here today with
Tim Baker. Hi, everybody.
And John Stuart. Hey.
So yeah, thanks for joining us, everyone that's listening. Did you guys ever think we would get to 50 episodes, guys?
No.
Well,
actually, yes. Yeah,
if nothing else, we're persistent. I didn't expect this many people to listen, though.
Yeah, 50 episodes doesn't necessarily mean success. I definitely didn't expect as much success as we've had. 50 episodes is understandable, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. You can do 50 episodes. Anybody can if they want to. It's having people listening that's the hard part. And yeah, you're right. We're doing pretty darn well, and that's thanks to all you guys out there. So thank you for listening. And I guess to some people, I mean, every number is kind of a big number if you want it to be, but I would say an even bigger number, 52, is coming up. And the reason that's important is because this is a weekly podcast and there are 52 weeks in a year. We mentioned this a little bit ago, but yeah, we're coming up on a year, and I don't know, it's been really fun. Have you guys enjoyed it at least?
Yeah, it's been enjoyable.
Yeah.
It's good to do stuff like this.
Yeah, I think it's been great. I think I've learned a lot more, and I think doing it has forced me to kind of be a little bit more involved with Bitcoin than I might have been otherwise. So yeah, it's definitely been good.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's been a huge learning experience. Everything from what kind of microphone to get to how to edit audio, and then obviously a ton of learning about Bitcoin, meeting people, marketing everything. All kinds of learning has been involved, so yeah. Well, I guess to celebrate for our 1 year extravaganza, I guess, I don't know. It's pretty much by coincidence, but that episode 52 is scheduled to go out on Christmas Day, so that's really cool. And to celebrate, we are doing a 12 days of YMB Christmas event. I think it was actually John's idea, but for 12 days in a row, we're going to release a little bit of some special content, special interviews. I think we're each going to have a solo episode, and who knows what could happen there without Tim to keep me in check.
Wait, without Tim to keep you in check? That's what you're worried about?
Yeah, I guess you're right. I'm probably the one that needs to be keeping Tim in check.
Yeah, you just know how rambunctious I get during these things.
It's true. The audience doesn't know because I cut it all out, but it's true. He goes crazy, so... Anyway, so keep an eye out for those. That will be starting this Sunday, which is whenever you're listening to this. It'll probably be starting really soon, a couple days. And yeah, it'll be 12 days in a row. Special content. We've done interviews already with Jeffrey Tucker and Stephen McCaskill. They've been two amazing guests with us before. So they'll be in there for one of those 12 days. Actually, I did schedule Stephen McCaskill for Tuesday the 16th. That one is pretty official. The rest of it could be anything. So make sure you're taking part in that. Listen up and enjoy it. We are going to do some giveaways, actually. I'm glad I remembered that. Some of those will actually only take place within the 12 specials. So you have to listen in order to get as many chances as you can to win things. We're going to be giving away Bitcoin. We're going to be giving away silver. I actually started a kickoff giveaway on the Bitcoin Talk forums. So if you're on those forums, check that out. Or it's on Twitter. If you follow us on Twitter and check some of our recent tweets, I'm sure you can find the details for that giveaway. But yeah, there's also going to be some in our special episodes. So make sure you're listening. I think, John, you're planning on home roasting some coffee, right, for everyone?
Yeah, that's definitely in the plans. Another thing we talked about, I don't know if you remember this, but we can record a song. I think I'm going to try to do that if we can come up with some lyrics.
Yeah, we're thinking 12 Days of YMB Christmas. That's what we called it. So the song, what is the song even called? The 12 Days of Christmas, I guess?
Yeah, so it'd just be the 12 Days of Bitcoin, I guess. Yeah.
Right. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. That'll be a ton of fun. Or who knows, we might make it a different kind of parody or something. We'll see. But yeah. And then yeah, like I said, the coffee, that'll be awesome, and we'll be giving it away. So tune in. All right, well, we do have a quick story that we want to share with you guys, so I guess Tim's going to take this. Go for it.
All right. According to CoinDesk today, it's December 9th today, the personal bitcoins of Ross Ulbricht apparently have now been auctioned off. A bidding syndicate organized by Bitcoin Investment Trust and the trading division at Second Market was the winner of the new bitcoins of Ross Ulbricht's personal ones, which are around 50,000. They didn't win all of them. It looks like they won 48,000 Bitcoin. The way that they set it up for the auction was in blocks. They won 19 of the 20 blocks. And the last block, or 2,000 Bitcoin, went to Timothy Draper, who was the one who purchased just about 30,000 of the Bitcoins back from whenever they auctioned off what was still in the Silk Road accounts, I believe. That was back in June.
Yeah, they basically separated the Silk Road coins from Ulbricht's own personal coins, and this is the second auction. Draper won all of the first ones, and he won just 2,000 this time, which is pretty cool, I guess.
Why is it cool?
Just that somebody's that interested, I guess, and willing to put that much money into it.
Yeah, I guess I should mention about the syndicate. It was made up of about 104 people, or the article says the syndicate was made up of 104 people, so that 48,000 Bitcoin is getting divided between them. I'm not sure if it's all equal or if certain people put in more money, but that looks like that's how it's going to be divided up.
Right, and that's actually kind of cool too, just because, I mean, there's nothing wrong with one person having a ton, but it's nice to see it spread around and see that there are lots of people who are interested too.
Yeah.
What did you say, 104? So yeah, that's nice.
Yes, yeah. Looks like in the auction there were 11 bidders over a 6-hour period, beginning at 8 a.m. Eastern Time and ending at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. The 11 registered bidders is compared to the 45 where the bidders were involved in the first auction of the other coins back in June.
Yeah, my guess would be that part of the reason there would be fewer bidders this time is just because the price has gone down. I'm honestly kind of surprised that Draper would want to put even more money in after the price has been cut in like half, roughly, since he originally put in millions of dollars. I mean, he's taken millions of dollars loss, and he's still putting money in, which I guess it's a good sign if somebody has that kind of faith, but...
Yeah, I mean, it's either that it's a good sign for us or he's just not learning. Right.
I don't see anywhere where it says what they paid for them. I mean, they mentioned the market value just so we know about what we're talking about. It says roughly $16.6 million at market value, but it doesn't say what the bids were that I can see anywhere, so...
someone made a kind of a decent point, and this ties into what we were talking about over the past few episodes about, for whatever reason, it keeps on coming up about how you deal with someone when they buy something that's stolen. And one of the comments brought this up. It says, the person's saying they won't do any business with Tim Draper and Bitcoin Investment Trust because they both purchased stolen goods. I don't really see why they're doing that. But they did bring up the point that they basically bought evidence and the trial hasn't happened yet. So what exactly... Well, first off, how can the government... I mean, it's already been looked at. You could say that, I guess. But also it's... like, why the US Marshals, why are they already making this much money off of it? Because, I mean, we didn't say how much they cost, but...
Okay, so you're saying, what if he wins the trial, and what if he should get those coins back, right?
No, I'm saying it's just something that was kept on being brought back up, is if you view this as someone having their stuff stolen from them, should you be doing business with Timothy Draper and the Bitcoin Investment Trust because they basically just bought stolen goods from someone that...
No, I understand that concern. I don't know yet if I agree with that or not. But I mean, the second thing you mentioned about why are they selling evidence when they haven't completed the trial, right?
Yeah, and that has nothing to do with if he gets them back or not. It has to do with, I mean, that's an issue, but it has to do with the trial's still ongoing. How can they be doing this with evidence?
Well, I would say, I don't know what the law is actually like, but I think it's just, I mean, the blockchain is there, the coins are there, there's not really much more information they can get from this evidence. Well, there is none. What else can they learn that's not already in the blockchain?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that. I'm saying normally whenever police take the stuff and sell it, I always thought it was after the trial was done. They don't take a drug dealer's car and sell it while he's waiting normally. To even be sentenced, because nothing has happened yet, has it?
I know there was some talk about, I don't know if it was a preliminary trial or what, but there was some talk about a trial a month or two ago. Maybe it got delayed or something, but yeah, it'll be interesting to just see, well, I guess see with Bitcoin how things go as a result of an auction like this, and then with Ross Ulbricht and stuff, that'll be interesting to keep an eye on too. I guess it's worth mentioning that people shouldn't be too worried about like a crashing price or anything when somebody dumps coins on the market, because it's a lot of coins, but it's still, compared to all the coins that are out there.
That would explain though why when I got up it was down about $15.
Yeah, you're right. It is down a little, but it can move $15 any day, right? You see it all the time. So
yeah, I was kind of surprised me. This helps kind of explain it a little bit.
You're listening to the You, Me, and BTC podcast. We need your help. First of all, we'd love it if you could check out our website, youmeandbtc.com. There you can find donation addresses for every single article and episode, and we'd love it if you could make use of those. We could also use some fans and followers, so if you're willing, please visit Facebook or Twitter.com/youmeandbtc. Lastly, remember to subscribe to the show. You can do that on iTunes or sign up on our website to receive email updates. Thanks for your support. Today we're with Mr. Robert Genito, and he runs Wall of Coins, which is a Bitcoin exchange with some pretty interesting aspects. I'm pretty excited to have a chat with him. We spoke to an altcoin exchange administrator last week, so it'll be interesting to get this kind of different perspective. So we ought to have a good time. Mr. Genito, thanks for joining us today.
Oh, thank you guys. I really appreciate it.
So I'm going to go ahead and start with the basic question that we pretty much ask everyone first. Tell us about Wall of Coins. What is it?
Sure. Wall of Coins is a peer-to-peer market for buying and selling Bitcoin. And by peer-to-peer, it has meant that people are buying from each other. And Wall of Coins is almost like the payment processor and the scam guard. We directly connect buyers and sellers in a way that we believe is the core is to be intelligent, trustworthy, secure, all that.
Can you tell us kind of the history of the project and how it got started and maybe what your goals are? I don't know, your philosophy. Just what do you want to accomplish with it and why are you doing this?
Thank you. I'm glad you asked. So first, how about where Wall of Coins was inspired a couple years ago, or a little more than a couple years ago? What inspired me to make something like Wall of Coins was the Bitcoin over-the-counter trading. If you're familiar with IRC, go to Bitcoin-OTC, that chat room on Freenode. This really inspired me because people were talking with each other and negotiating a price and helping each other acquire Bitcoin. You did have the problem of scammers, of course, and even more so as it got popular. Another influence of mine was BitInstant, their philosophy to instantly get Bitcoin to other people in markets or wherever. Of course, where these worlds exist, so do shady practices. So that wasn't an inspiration, of course, but to do this all trust-wise. So in summary, what inspired Wall of Coins was BitInstant, Bitcoin over-the-counter trading, and as well, the big inspiration was someone can make a system where you don't have to worry about getting scammed and it's easy to use.
Speaking of like the scam, like what kind of prevention measures do you really have in place to protect people from stuff like that?
Well, so the first, we don't really have a ton of measures put into place, but you could say that our system, it is designed to limit that and prevent that. First of all, with over-the-counter trading, the biggest problem there were the people and their interactions with each other. So we have really limited people and their interactions with each other, which can be viewed as a bad thing, but we do it for the purpose of, anti-scam. For example, many cities now have Bitcoin meetups where people can meet others and really go face to face. But, with local Bitcoins, for example, local Bitcoins is basically a lead list for scammers. And so if somebody is new and they hook up with the wrong person or put their trust in the wrong person, they can really have a dangerous time with that. So the first thing we do is we allow people to connect directly with each other without being able to compromise that trust. So the sellers, they absolutely do have the Bitcoin available that they're selling through escrow with ourselves. And the buyers, when they put in, say, $10 worth of Bitcoin that they want to buy, if they're legitimate buyers, we connect them with the proper means to get that Bitcoin.
So you almost do like a vetting process for the people, like you're the insurance that this person is trustworthy enough to conduct business with?
Correct. When it comes to the side of the seller, their goal, of course, is to liquidate that Bitcoin. We're able to get them cash with our network of buyers. So we don't have to worry about the seller scamming any of the buyers because we hold that Bitcoin in a cold storage, entirely cold storage. And so that Bitcoin is absolutely available. As far as the buyer side, we do cash deposits. And there are, so to say, there are things that people do try cash deposit wise. And it's lengthy, but the buyers, we handle that whole cash deposit area. We handle the proof of it so that the seller, when they look at their bank account, they see that they have cash. They know it's there. They know it's not going to disappear because a teller is teamed up with a depositor, and etc.
Okay, yeah.
I think that makes a lot of sense. I mean, I know scamming is a huge thing in Bitcoin trading, and I certainly hope that everything that you do works out and that you are able to prevent scams and help people. And so that's really cool. Can you talk about anonymity a little bit? When we talked with this other administrator last week. We just had a fun time talking a little bit about anonymity and whether it's good or bad. Can you tell us kind of your perspective on that? Do you plan on having a way for Wall of Coins to be anonymous? Do you want it to be anonymous or not? Anything you can share about that?
Concerning anonymity, there are a lot of emotional aspects for it, and there are a lot of legitimate aspects. Legitimate in the way where people's information can be abused, or abused by companies, or abused by even tyrannical governments, Egypt, or etc. You had years ago things with Egypt, but as far as anonymity goes, you can be anonymous if you want to in that world. Bitcoin helps that, so it does cater to people who want to feel anonymous. But a Wall of Coins' main goal is not to help people be anonymous. People can be on their own. If you are a seller, you're not anonymous in the regards of a bank account that is receiving cash deposits. But can you make that anonymous? There are steps you could go through in getting a bank account in a fictitious name or whatever ropes you go through to do that. As far as the buyer, the only identity contact we have on Wall of Coins with a buyer, we do have the phone number. And the phone number is used so that when the buyer is mobile and on the go and they make a cash deposit at a Bank of America, they can text Wall of Coins to say, hey, I made the deposit, I'm done. And then our system moves from there. Whether they have a smartphone or not, they don't have to log back into the site. They don't have to worry about if they have a good internet connection or connecting to a Wi-Fi. They can just simply text our system to let us know, and then we continue the order process from there to get them their Bitcoin. However, as far as anonymity is concerned, Wall of Coins system will hash that phone number as soon as it's not in use anymore. As in, as soon as the Bitcoin has been sent to them, we overwrite and hash that. This way, if somebody does get hold of our database on our production servers, if that ever does happen, there won't be this big lead list of people that could possibly be scammed, unless, of course, they figure out all the hashes. But yeah, I could talk a lot about this, so I'll break for now.
Yeah, no, that's all right. I had the opportunity to test out the system, a week or two ago. And yeah, I thought the texting idea was really cool. Just really simple to use, and it worked out, and honestly, I was kind of surprised that everything happened as fast as it did and as smooth as it did, but it was pretty sweet. So yeah, that was fun. And I guess kind of along those lines, can you talk about the user experience, what people are going to see and do on the website, and also in that area, just how many users do you have and how much traffic do you get? Anything like that?
Yeah. So, some things I really want to mention are the non-user experiences. For example, the people who see Wall of Coins and then they have their presumptions based off other methods that exist there. The Bitcoin world, and especially areas where people could acquire Bitcoin or sell it, have really, I might even say, not abused, but there have been a lot of not so quality products out there. Or there have been products that help people achieve that goal, but the user is not entirely in mind. There are exceptions popping up now because many companies realize this problem. But so for one, the non-user will believe, hey, okay, wow, this seems cool. All cold storage, you're using a mobile system, etc. But wait, how are you going to be able to do 100% cold storage and have quick transactions? And we've solved this. And I truly believe we could have 1,000 transactions in an hour, and we can still do this all cold storage. With the user experience, thank you for what you told me. I'm really glad that you had a good experience with that. A lot of users are telling us that they were surprised how a lot of sellers say they were surprised how quickly their coins sold. A lot of sellers who've been selling on local Bitcoins will say, like I talked with two, for example, I talked with two directly. It said how they were really surprised how easy it was. They're used to meeting up with people, negotiating a time, negotiating a rate. Well, not so much time negotiating the rate, but a lot of sellers and buyers are used to negotiating a time. And that scheduling, people typically aren't good with that. Am I right?
Yeah.
So, scheduling is a problem. So far, all of the responses I've gotten good. There have been some bads with sellers who are worried about, KYC and all that. But mostly good. I'm really looking for as much criticism though, and I'm really looking for hints of, hey, this could be better, because our team is constantly looking at ways to make wall coins better. We have, I haven't looked for a couple weeks on how many users we have. I am looking at how many users are searching. I do check this out daily. At the moment, between 30 and 50 searches occur on our site.
All right.
30 to 50 unique searches. People, and when I say searches, I mean people who are searching to buy Bitcoin. That's as far as traffic goes. As far as how many users, it looks like, and I'd have to look at this again, but it looks like over 100 people, maybe 150, that have entered the system, whether to buy or to sell.
You mentioned earlier about how you had full cold storage of the Bitcoins, where you were talking about how you helped to stop fraud. Can you tell us a little bit more about how you go about handling the money?
Sure. One thing I'm really happy about is about 2 years ago when we started prototyping this. I started prototyping it, really. Not until maybe a year later, I got in touch with Devin Cook, a security researcher, and he really looked at a lot of the processes. As far as cold storage goes, these processes to keep everything in cold storage also went through Devin. So a security researcher has looked at all this, and they're not cheap at all. It'd be great if they were cheap, but they're in high demand. And myself, this is not what I do for a living, but data security has always been a big interest of mine. And so basically with our process, there are, you don't want anybody to have access to everything. So our processes have been set up and segregated so that the only way we can internally do any harm is for two of us to come together and perform that harm. So in the cold storage area, it kind of, like right now, I do have access to one of our main wallets, cold storage encrypted password. Next week, that's going to completely change, where not even I have the ability to do this, because we want, if I have the ability to do it, then that means somebody else can obtain the ability to do it. And security is our biggest concern.
Right, that's huge. With exchanges and everything, people get hacked a lot, and it's huge to make sure your funds are protected. And we definitely hope that that works out for you and you can avoid the whole hacking territory and stuff like that. So that's great. One of the final things I want to ask you, well, actually we have a couple things that we always do at the end, but I want to ask what your future plans are, just any updates that you plan to implement, anything that you're excited for, anything at all?
Yeah, absolutely. See, usually, pretty much always with what we work on, it is kept quite secret. And I say that just because, not in an annoying Apple kind of way, which I do like how Apple does that, but, we really keep it to ourselves so that when we do release it, we feel good about it. We feel really good to tell people for the first time. So this is more of a psychological reason. We do have a lot of really big plans that I'm really excited about. The most upcoming plan that you'll be able to see even now is we're giving users the ability to give the gift of Bitcoin, to gift Bitcoin to family members, loved ones. Of course, it's the holiday time, and the holiday season is a good time to do that, but we'll continue to do that in the future especially before colleges start up. If you're going to MIT, you're happy because you get $100 worth of Bitcoin. If you are the parents of, 2 children who are in college and they don't have that opportunity, you can give them that opportunity. So when you give the gift of Bitcoin, you essentially give the other individual a gift card, a global gift card that, Amazon, I believe Amazon for a while has accepted it, but Newegg accepts it. It's a gift card for many purposes, but you also give the individual the opportunity to learn about it in order to use it. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah, we definitely love gifting Bitcoin. I've done it before, and yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah, and we found a way to securely do that as well that we think people will find very cool. And of course, education is a big part of it, and we're willing to do that. We have customer support. We have an 800 number for that, and we do spend a lot of time with this. Honestly, I don't know any Bitcoin services out there, especially for buying and selling in the United States, where you can just call them on the phone.
Yeah.
As far as current features and future features, I want to inspire other markets to change.
Okay, yeah, I think that's really important, and I think that's kind of a interesting philosophy, that you want to be good enough that other people have to change and try and be as good as you and stuff.
Well, there are a lot of things already that really sets Wall of Coins apart from most exchanges. As far as fees, there's very minimal fee for the buyer's end, and it's extremely variable. And many times a buyer can find themselves not paying any fee or paying very little fee. But with Wall of Coins, we flat out tell them how much Bitcoin they're going to get, and they judge from there. Sellers never receive a fee, and this isn't something extremely inspiring to other markets, but where it leads from there, I believe, is we do 100% cold storage, and when our volume is much higher, I want places like Bitstamp to say, if they're doing 100% cold storage to protect their business and to protect their users, why can't we do that? We're also fully transparent. We host all of our Bitcoin addresses online on a separate server. So you can literally import all of our addresses as a watch-only wallet and see all of the activity happening. There's no reason why no other market can do that. CoinPort does something similar to that, but they don't give you all of the deposit addresses. We do, and there's no reason. It's uncalled for any company to not do that.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with you with that, and I guess just like what Daniel said, thanks for, yeah, I mean, it's good to see someone who wants to inspire everyone else to, up their game too. So yeah, so thank you for that.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for asking.
Speaking of just, your thoughts on other exchanges or just anything really, we like to ask our guests to tell us a personal story, something about Bitcoin, maybe a time. It can be a funny story, maybe some time that you got scammed out of some money, or sometime if you met someone that you really respected in the field, or if you've seen it, some really great thing that you think it can change and that you think this might evolve into something even better.
There's a few things I think of. One that really stood out, I was meeting at a coffee shop long ago. Bitcoin was probably $5. And, it was someone who basically he contacted me online, and he was looking to buy Bitcoin, had no idea where, because he really wanted to get some. And he wasn't really a computer user, a very power user. So we had met up, and it was this, maybe this was a little later after that. I know that blockchain.info was around at the time, so maybe it was a little later than that. He gave me some cash. I gave him some Bitcoin, small amount just to start. And, we sat there and we talked. And I believe there were 2 or 3 confirmations. I said, well, hey, this is great. Hey, you have a good day and, enjoy the Bitcoin. And he said, well, wait, we got to wait till this is confirmed. I said, well, okay. All right. Well, here we have 2 confirmations or 3 confirmations. Yeah, let's wait for one more. Another confirmed. I told him, hey, all right, well, I got to get going and you have a good one. This conversation turned into, hey, we need to wait until this is confirmed. There's 6 confirmations and I really have to do my stuff during the day. But energy-wise, he was really concerned with this, but he also did not understand the technology. And this is one small example about how the technology really needs to change to help your normal person. In this example, I had stayed with him longer because I really cared about, how he felt with this. And it wasn't a complete dire emergency for me to leave. However, I understand how people feel with this. I've talked with so many Bitcoin beginners. So I think we got to 12 confirmations and I told them, look, that number is going to keep counting forever. And to be frank, it's not really good to call these confirmations on the Bitcoin developers' part. But who knows what to call these things anyways? Bitcoin, at its core, is a very abstract item. Bitcoin solved many problems that allowed Bitcoin itself to be used like a currency. And, when you keep abstracting from there, coming up with new English terms, there are basically a lot more English terms to create in the future, and there's a lot less information to show people. I probably did go into, hey, this amount of hashing power is distributed between the network right now. You don't really need to worry about a 51% attack at the moment, etc., etc. But I basically let him know that could count up to 2,000 and we'll still be here starving, hungry, having a headache. And he basically gave in and was like, okay, all right.
That's great. Yeah, that's a really interesting story and good laugh too. It's interesting. I was just thinking this morning about how, we've had a couple people come on the show before, I think, and we ask for a personal story like this every time. And a couple of people have given us coffee shop stories about how ideas started. And I was just thinking this morning how actually the idea for this podcast, Tim and I were sitting in a coffee shop and said, hey, wait a second, we talk about Bitcoin all the time. Why not record it? And I just thought it was kind of funny where how many ideas must start in coffee shops.
Yeah, years ago, I often went to this coffee shop and I saw these guys playing chess all the time. They would play chess with other people. Then I went and I sat there, and one of the main chess players had this radio voice, like a really good radio voice. And the other guy liked to pester him or, just, I don't know how to describe it, but he would ask some silly questions, or he was really competitive with chess, so he would make fun of a move of his. And I'm just sitting there like, you guys need to make a talk show. This is more entertaining listening to you than watching you play chess. And of course, they knew me as the Bitcoin guy, and I'd say, all right, Bitcoin guy thinks we need to make a talk show. Apparently we need to do this.
That's awesome. Well, hey, I guess our last question will just be, just let people know how they should be contacting you, maybe share your website. I don't know if you have Twitter or anything like that. How should people keep in touch?
Sure. The website is wallofcoins.com. That's a WALLOFCOINS.com. And we also have a Twitter, which is Twitter, /wallofcoins, Facebook /wallofcoins, Instagram. We use Instagram to really communicate in pictures with our company, our work, what we have going on, screenshots of Wall of Coins, so people can see it, And as far as Twitter, of course, we use those outlets in the appropriate way. People can also call. We have an 800 number. Give us a call, ask some questions. If you're in the US, it's 866-841-COIN. And the coin is 2646. So that's 866-841-2646. And the company Genitrust has a few functions. Option 1 is wall of coins.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, hey, thanks for joining us today, Robert. This was Robert Genito from Wall of Coins. Thanks again.
Yep, thank you.
Thanks for listening to episode 50. All of the music in today's show was from John Stuart. Remember to catch our 12 days of YMB Christmas starting this Sunday. And we'll see you next Thursday for another full episode.